type of advice that would propel your career and allow you to overcome the stumbling blocks that keep people from fulfilling their potential at work. And that's the idea behind the book, The Mom BA, Essential Business Advice from One Generation to the Next. It's written by Karen Schoenbart. She's CEO of the NPD Group, which is a global provider of information and advisory services. All the stuff you want to know to train up our next generation is found right here in the Mom BA. Karen Schoenbart, welcome to Experience Pros.
Eric and Angel, thanks so much. Absolutely. Given the importance, we started the book with that chapter, covering a variety of ways to make a good first impression and hone your executive presence. And it starts with what I call dress the way that matters to the people who matter. That doesn't always mean a jacket. It means dress the way that matters to the people who matter. And when in doubt, find out. If you're interviewing with me, you need to be wearing a jacket. But if you're interviewing at a startup, maybe you need to be wearing jeans and a black t-shirt.
I feel terribly underdressed.
It depends upon, there's no one size fits all rule. And then how you speak is also a reflection on you. My pet peeve is the dreaded upspeak, where every sentence ends as though it's a question. And it just makes people sound insecure. And so it's really important to show up the way you want to be perceived.
All right.
I think that is so valuable. I remember my daughter going into a job interview and pulling a shirt out of her laundry basket that looked like the shirt had just come out of her laundry basket. And sometimes our kids, they do a lot to make sure that they stand out. They have their, maybe with their hairstyle or some of their clothing, it sets out their personal impression. But it isn't always necessarily a professional impression that they are leaving. How do you get them to bridge that gap that, yes, this is who you are personally, and I know this is a personal representation of you and you want to have your purple hair, but it might not necessarily fit professionally. I think I just ran round robin in my question. Does that make sense?
No, it's about finding out before you're going on, if you're going on a job interview, find out what's appropriate, because it isn't the way it used to be. And if you call the HR department, you ask them, I'm interested in getting this job. I want to make a good impression. How do I need to show up for the people I'm going to be meeting with? And so you want to teach that next generation that you can still be yourself. I like pink. You can still wear pink. You can still have a personality, but you want to be taken seriously in the workplace.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Speaking about being taken seriously, networking and building relationships is an important part to most people in small business and large as well. What are your thoughts on how to build that foundation?
Well, networking is really important. We talk a lot about it. I talk a lot about it in Mom BA. When you're going to a networking event, to me, it's not about quantity, it's about quality. You want to make sure you're having some authentic, real connections. When you're talking to one person, you don't want to be looking around the whole room at who else you can be talking to. Focus on that one person. And in my experience, people like when you call them by name. It shows you care. So make a practice. I tell people in the book, make a practice to remember and use people's names. And my tip for remembering names is pretty easy. You just use their name 3 times. When you first meet them, you say, hi, Eric, nice meeting you. Chat talk a little bit. Eric, how long have you worked at your company? And then when you leave, you say, goodbye, Eric. It was nice meeting you.
Yep.
And if you find that connection's not a great one, be in the moment and then move on to another one.
I love taking my daughter to networking events, and one of my daughters loves coming. The other one isn't so crazy about it, but the one that loves coming has actually been able to develop those relationships in a job she just got.
You bet.
And found that a lot of the folks she had been networking with in the past, she's having those interactions again several years later. And so it's coming around. She's finally seeing how smart mom has been. How about this one? Surviving Your Boss. We're actually talking with Karen Schoenbart. She's the author of the book, Mom BA. You've heard of an MBA? Well, this is the Mom BA, Essential Business Advice from one generation to the next. What do you teach them about building those relationships with their bosses?
Well, first of all, you have to remember that you can learn as much from a bad boss as you can from a good one. I tell the story of my first boss, Adam, who was a nurturer. Sounds good, right?
Yeah,
sure.
But then I felt stifled, and he wouldn't let me spread my wings as I got more experienced. He didn't give me rope to make mistakes and do my own thing. My next boss practically ignored me, so I thought he was a bad boss. But it turned out he was just what I needed at that time, so I could learn to stand on my own. And I also tell people, I told my daughter, and I'm sure you've told your children, that negative experiences, such as surviving a tough boss, are like notches on your belt. They provide you with valuable learnings so that you don't make the same mistakes going forward, and that you can assess what kind of boss you want to be when you get to that position.
That's solid all the way around. Karen, where would you like our listeners to connect with you?
Well, they can go to my website at Karen with a Y, KARYN.Schoenbart, KarenSchoenbart.com. And the book is available on Amazon right now. Today is the launch date. Or tomorrow is the launch date. So it's like super exciting. And I look forward to continuing the dialogue.
Go get a copy of Mom BA. Karen Schoenbart, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a privilege chatting with you.
Congratulations on your book.
Eric. Thanks, Angel.
All right. Folks, don't go anywhere. More positive business talk just ahead. You're listening to Angel Tussey and Eric Raymer. We're helping you get your business right. This is the Experience Pros Radio Network.
The Experience Pros, revolutionizing the way people treat people in business.